Well, I need a drink after that.
Holy where to begin?
Is he retarded?
Not exactly.
He's not crazy, he's not retarded, but he's here.
Well, he's an autistic savant.
Yeah, but he's retarded.
Autistic?
Yeah, something like that.
What did you do?
Isaac's dead.
How many more sleeps before she wakes up again?
Did you brush your teeth? She forgot to brush her teeth.
I've got all my mind.
In my head movies.
To the man's credit, he's actually eased up on the retard.
No, that's not what...
Okay, so this one, it wasn't necessarily that the characters were as dumb, even though the characters are fucking dumb in this episode. I'm not saying that they're not, but just sort of the situations that they were in.
Yes, the events we found them in were
they
just
made
dumb
no logical
situations.
sense,
Yeah.
you know? The last episode ends with Slightly taking Arthur into that vent, which a lot of you have pointed out in our comments, like, there's a fucking human-sized vent and he just pulled that thing off without unscrewing anything. Yes, absolutely, you are 100%
Which
right.
probably leads to everywhere else in the facility
Yeah,
from
well,
this
so-
secure lab.
So this episode starts out with Slightly already has Arthur in his fucking room.
Yeah, he's just got him back under his
Because
bed.
when the last episode ends, you think, what's going to happen?
They're like
Is he-
trapped in there.
Is he going to hide in there because the flies are out there and like there's security maybe everywhere? Like, what's going to happen? I don't know. But this episode starts and he's just already in his fucking room. So one of two things happened then. All right? Where these highly potentially contagious alien specimens, the vent system just goes throughout the entire complex. And he just happens to just drag them all the way to the vent to his room.
How else would he get there?
Or he got out of the vent and dragged Arthur past the flies that seem like were a threat at this point. And then once he gets him outside of the lab, he has to navigate through it with security and just other personnel and just ninjas his way to his fucking room.
Yeah, because he's been so stealthy up to this point.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Bullshit. That fucking angered me so much, just the way the show started.
Yeah. Smee shows up, who we've had like 5 minutes with in this whole season. This
Pretty much.
guy just bounces around from episode to episode like, what's going on, guys? What's going on? Because another pointless character that could have been rolled into another character to tighten this up. He shows up and sees what Slightly's up to and decides, well, I guess I'm going to have to help him. And they have to get him down to the beach to meet Morrow and his Yutani team. So then we jump to the lab where now we've got sirens going off, lights flashing, security
The
everywhere.
hubbub of security patrol.
Where the fuck was this the previous 6 episodes?
Yeah.
Just non-existent.
Now all suddenly security is around.
Whoopie fucking do.
Because
Wow.
the story needs it to be.
Well, that being said, though, there are security personnel there now. But then, you know, when Smee and Slightly have to leave the room to take Arthur out, Smee just pokes his head out and he's like, complex is secure.
2 people walk by and he's
They're
like, we're clear.
They walk by,
Yeah.
and he says, we're clear. And they literally are clear.
Yeah.
There's no one else patrolling. It's just those 2 assholes.
Right. There's no cameras watching
No
them.
cameras, nothing.
Yeah. No motion detectors.
This is so fucking stupid.
Yeah.
And it's 2 of them dragging a dude with this big ass fucking thing on his face.
Yeah. Nobody's... Before that happens, we're in this lab now that has been breached, and these 2 guys just run in, little zappers and cages, and they just capture the flies, no problem. Just put them away. And we come in, and now if you remember how the last episode ended with Kirsch just straight up lying to Boy about what was going on in the lab, now he's like, this is what happened. Look, here, he went in, watched this video, the sheep knocked on the... He's just telling him everything, and it's like, why'd you fucking lie to him then?
Yes, why did you fucking lie?
Like, is this part of his plan?
Well, but
Bullshit.
even if it was, it doesn't matter. Like him telling Boy when he was checking his tablet on their way back, that wouldn't change where they
Nothing.
are now.
No.
That changes nothing. And in fact, if Boy was smart, he's supposed to be this fucking genius. But why isn't he like, hey asshole, I saw you looking at your tablet when we were flying home. Why didn't you tell me what was going on? Oh my god, this is so fucking stupid.
So they're like, oh shit, well, you know, Toodles went in there and did, and he shows him everything, and boy just like doesn't give a fuck. He's like, well, you know, $6 billion down the drain. Oh well. Oh well. More interested in his sheep and his eyeball dude. That's like all he could think about. And
Wendy just pops in.
she just pops in.
Security clearance,
No problem. No problem.
Yeah.
She walks in. She sees old Toodles is dead. She's like, shit, okay, well, I guess I really am not safe here.
Right.
Time to go. So she goes off to find her brother.
Her fucking gay little weird brother.
Then we jump back to the Brain Trust, who are trying to bring Arthur out of the building to the beach, and they run into Kirsch.
Well, isn't that convenient?
And you think, oh, well, I mean, jig is up. Kirsch is like, no, take that elevator. That'll take you right to the beach, and off you go. So now you're thinking, okay, maybe he's flipped. Maybe he's Wayland Yutani
Maybe he's
now.
been Wayland Yutani the whole time. We don't know.
This is the beginning of his turn. And this is also the beginning of the bullshit that people are going to peddle about how this is part of Kirsch's plan.
Yes.
Because what precedes, there is no way he could have anticipated the events
Not
that
even
occur.
just what precedes, what came before,
all of it,
everything.
all
It
of
doesn't.
it.
Yeah, go on.
So they head out. They're dodging patrols still.
Somehow.
They hide in a bush.
This takes place literally 5 seconds.
Yeah, they turn around.
Maybe 10. They turn around. Arthur is gone.
He's just gone. Okay, so in that 10 seconds, this thing apparently crawled off his face, went up a tree. Arthur got up, looked around, didn't see them right there, walked
15
away,
feet away,
and then did an about face, went around this way, and then came in from a different direction. And was like, hey guys, what the heck's going on out here?
and then the face hugger comes out of the tree to
falls
scare
out of the
them.
tree,
Yeah.
lying there dead, and Arthur's like, what's that thing? And then never mentions it again. Like, no, seriously, what the fuck is that thing on the ground? Like, that would be my prime concern.
Like, that is so fucking stupid. First of all, in the first Alien, when the facehugger dies and comes off of Kane.
Yeah, Kane's still unconscious.
I think this is even like in all the Alien movies. When the facehugger comes off someone, like they're unconscious still. It takes a while for them to come back.
Yeah, they wake up like, oh shit, what's going on?
And then when they finally do, it's like hours after it comes off Kane that Kane finally wakes up and he's disoriented, which is what happens with...
Yeah, he's drinking a little water. He's like, oh,
and they ask him, what's the last thing you remember?
Yeah, exactly. And then later on, after he cleans up, he goes to dinner. This, nope. We head right down to the beach, and literally within minutes, because the story needs it to happen at this moment.
Even though this show specifically said, in what was it, episode 5, 4 or 5?
Morrow, yeah, when he
Morrow,
brings up the gestation period.
He brings up like how long this stuff takes. And he gave you the timeline that was set up in Alien. But this, they decided to break their own rules.
Yep.
And they do the thing that Alien versus Predator did, and they do the thing that fucking Alien Romulus did. They just need the chest burster to come out ASAP because of plot.
Yeah.
And that's what happens.
Yep.
It comes out right there on the beach.
Yep, so poor Arthur, he tries to talk some sense into them. And they listen, and then it comes out, and then the thing just scurries away.
Naturally.
Naturally into the jungle, so that thing's lost. And they're like, well, shit, we gotta keep going. And then they do something, and this is probably one of the things that I just kept focusing on for the rest of the episode because I just couldn't understand it. They somehow fashion a bamboo raft.
Yeah.
Like literally, it materializes out of nowhere. Where the fuck did you get that raft from?
Dude, you know what it reminded me of? I don't know if you remember this, but in Rambo 4, there's a part where one of the guys gets hurt.
You gonna make it? I don't know. Make it stretch it.
And then like it cuts away, it goes to like the bad guys real quick, and then when it cuts back, they have this elaborate stretcher that they made out of bamboo and like all this shit.
Fuck off.
And that movie's great, but that was so stupid, and that always stuck out to me. You know, this is the exact same fucking thing.
Yeah, and it's like intricately made. It's like
Of
all
course,
woven
there's,
together.
like,
It's like
layers to it and
yeah,
shit,
it's like,
you know?
and that's what I'm focusing on. They're dragging Arthur's dead body, and I'm like, how the fuck did they construct that raft?
That's a good question.
So, anyways, now they got Arthur on a fucking raft. They're just dragging him through the water.
They bring him, and then all of a sudden we get Morrow and the Wayland Yutani guys come out, and he's like, what the fuck is this? You brought me a dead body with no alien specimen. And he pins it on the kid.
I did everything that you said for me to do. I
Morrow's like, did you though? Because the timeline doesn't add up if you did everything I said. And it's like, well, hold on, Morrow. Because this kid, you know, to his fucking credit, they did get him out of there.
Yeah.
Like, he had the thing on his face. It came off on the beach.
He actually was following his timeline.
Yes, he wasn't really going too far outside of his timeline.
Yeah.
So I thought Morrow was being a little harsh on him.
A little unreasonable.
A little unreasonable.
Yeah.
You know, I thought he had days to work with. Apparently not, because Because when he got him out of that lab and he was hiding under the bed, you know,
Still the same day.
it's still the same day.
Yeah.
So this all happened in the space of one day. So
Just a few hours.
yeah, so back off a little bit, Morrow. Let's give the kid a little slack here. But then Morrow is like, well, now we have to go into the facility to get a new specimen because you fucked up, kid. So this is where... Okay.
This is so fucking stupid.
This ties back to what we were talking about with Kirsch earlier. They make their way into the facility, and we'll get to Wendy's storyline in a second.
Yeah.
But while this is happening, you see the
chest burster going through the
scurrying around,
jungle,
and a net just
and
lands on it.
a net just catches it.
The fuck did you find that
So
thing?
they just found it.
Yeah, no problem. So
What the
now,
fuck?
and you don't see who captures it. So they break into the facility. They've got Slightly and Smee. All of a sudden, Kirsch shows up with all the security that we've never seen before, and he's got the little chest burster in a little container, and he's like, haha, one step ahead of you. What the fuck? There is no way you could have foreseen what was going to happen out there on that beach, and it was going to pop out of Arthur's chest, and then it was going to drive Morrow to have to come into the facility. What should have happened was they should have taken Arthur there, and they would have collected him, and they would have left.
Yes.
Right? Based on the timeline that they were following.
Right.
There's no way Kirsch could have planned that.
Kirsch could not have anticipated for the chest burster to come out in that amount of time. Like,
Bullshit.
He just, yeah, exactly. So if this is part of his plan, that was a big fucking risk to take. That's why none of this makes sense. And all the people that like this show, they're going to continue saying, oh, it's just part of Kirsch's plan. Bull fucking shit. And I guess that there could be some things that Kirsch is still kind of playing close to his chest, but I'm pretty sure at this point, this episode just solidifies that he's just been trying to lure Morrow in, and that's been his plan the whole time.
Right, and if his plan to lure Morrow into the facility was to just send the two of them out with Arthur with a face hugger on, that's your fucking plan?
Even before that, the last episode was sending fucking Toodles in to feed the alien.
Yeah.
All these things had to have gone wrong for his plan to go
whatever
right.
his plan is.
You know what I mean? And like, there's just no way he could have anticipated all that. I don't care. I know he's a synth, and I know he's probably a genius mathematician and can like calculate all that stuff. There's no way. There's just things that were like so improbable that happened. No fucking way. This is stupid.
Right.
And the show is asking us to believe that.
Right.
Fuck you.
During all this now, we get the parallel story of Wendy and Joe. They decide, okay, it's time to leave. Time to fucking finally get out of this place. Okay, but before we go, because Wendy now is just so focused on that boy and the people on the island Prodigy, that they are the bad guys, she decides to do her little, let me touch this computer monitor here,
right,
and access a computer system through a monitor, yes, and unlock the cage on the xenomorph, letting it out into the lab, and it just wrecks everybody.
Right. She lets the fucking alien...
She lets it out.
Out of its pen.
Yep. She lets it out.
I was fucking done.
So she just crosses the line right there. The little girl she was in episode 1 where she didn't want to kill the scorpion. Now she is, let's just murder everybody.
Mind you, she just decided this a few hours ago.
Yeah.
And now she's like in full murder mode.
Yeah. And when that alien comes out, just starts killing everybody, they try to grab other hybrids to get out. Curly doesn't want to go. And they grab good old Nibs. And Nibs is back to being her fucked up self again.
Of course she is.
And that's a combination of Wendy's fault and Sylvia's fault.
Right.
Because of how that shit played out. So she's all fucked up.
Well, and you'd also think, oh shit, like Curly, she's gonna tell people. But rest assured, Wendy has Curly promise that she's not gonna tell anyone.
And just like that, the three of them head out to go to the boat so they can escape the island.
Along their quest, their first stop, they come upon a gravesite.
The one thing this scene did convey, which goes all the way back to the beginning of the show, where they focus on, are these hybrids actually the consciousness of these kids, or did they just copy them over and these kids are actually dead? It's an interesting idea, something worth exploring, but at this 11th hour now in the show, who gives a shit? It's not even the focus anymore.
Well, you also just have the urgency of what they're doing.
Right, and then they just stop.
Yes.
We're in the middle of an escape here, but let's just stop and focus on this thread that we've just abandoned for quite a while now. And I'm thinking the whole time, who buried them here?
No, that's
and why would you do this?
That's just it. Like, Boy Cavalier and his team, like, they're all a bunch of heartless, ruthless sons of bitches. There is no reason for them to have given them a proper burial.
Yeah,
especially
as soon as
with
they die, just cremate them and it's done.
Especially with their fucking headstones with their actual names on them.
And who are you burying them for? Their families don't know they're here.
Yes, exactly. That's why this whole thing is stupid. Like, what would have been smart for him to do is just cremate them. Get rid of like all the evidence or whatever. Now, this could be part of like a whole PR thing that like when they do release the information and like all that.
Sure, yeah.
You know,
or like in part of Boys, he wants them to like see this, to fuck with them. But whatever it is, it's all stupid and it's pointless at this point. And it's like in the middle of the jungle too, and it's just like luck that they happen upon it.
Yeah, we are lucky. Are we lucky?
so
You know,
stupid.
why would you even put it out here in the middle of nowhere? It's all fucking stupid. So they're looking at these graves, and that's when like Joe kind of like lingers on this shit, like, oh, I guess my sister's really dead and all this, whatever. They move on. The Weyland-Yutani soldiers pop up and try to capture them, and she
does her little dog whistle. She calls her Velociraptor friend.
She calls Blue, and
I couldn't stop fucking thinking about
he
Jurassic
comes
World.
jumping out of the trees, which that dude swings that gun up. He gets a few rounds off
He
right
does.
at it, and it just like
And
they
that's
phase right
dude,
through his
that's
body.
the other thing. Okay, yes, the aliens are crazy. They're fucking strong. They're fast, dangerous, but they can be killed.
Yeah, they can be
guns.
shot.
These soldiers have pulse rifles. Like these things are more than enough, as we've seen in other movies, to take down an alien.
Yeah.
But these people can't shoot for shit, I guess.
Right.
But I don't know, he gets a couple shots off for some reason. Doesn't even hit the alien.
Doesn't even nick it.
Yeah. But then the alien gets him, kills the guy real quick, and
Yeah.
then he just literally slaughters
And
the rest of the men.
I did like how brutal that
I mean,
moment was with the slaughtering.
again,
Despite the fact how shitty the alien looks and,
and
all
how
that.
the special effects look, conceptually,
yes,
it's cool.
I did like the slaughtering aspect of it.
Right.
Then it stops, and they try to hide how shitty it looks with a bush. And it walks up to Wendy, and right in the background you see fucking Nibs. She just clicks over, and then sends it off. And they're like, "What did you say to it?" "Oh, I told it to just hide and follow us."
I think.
Okay, sure. You could just communicate with it now. Bullshit.
Yeah, so now apparently Wendy just has a fucking pet alien that she can sick on anyone anytime she wants to.
Yep, and you know that's going to be used quite a bit in the final episode.
Right, not only can just mimic their frequencies and the noises that they make, she just...
Understands their language, which makes absolutely no sense.
And apparently the aliens have a language. They're not just instinctual animals.
Okay.
They continue on to their journey to the boat. Joe picks up a pulse rifle like he knows what a fucking gun is and how to use it.
Yeah, there's no fucking way. Joe voted for those things to be banned.
Yeah.
There's no way he didn't.
And they finally get to the dock where the boat is, and it looks like they're in the clear. And then 50 soldiers literally just emerge out of nowhere.
Right.
And trap them on the boat.
Hermit's friends were hiding inside of the boat cabin. They come out and they summon all the rest of the soldiers.
They all just come out of from behind a couple
they all
crates
just
on the dock.
They all just Batman out of nowhere.
They
you know?
materialize out of thin air.
Yeah.
And Nibs, the cheese, slips off her cracker a little further.
Mr. Strawberry says, fuck off.
And she just goes into full murder bot mode.
Right.
Starts ripping
She
jaws off
performs
people.
a fatality. Off of,
It's actually great. She rips that dude's face off.
yeah. Which was a cool effect.
Yeah, it was pretty good. Joe has to put her down. Zaps the shit out of her.
Yes.
It seemed like she's just out of commission, not actually
Yeah,
dead.
as to if she's dead or not, I don't think so. I think she's still.
I
I think she's just knocked out.
stunned or whatever.
Yeah.
And Wendy wasn't too happy about that. So
And that's how the episode ends.
yeah,
but-
it seems like they're
Right.
they're captured now and they're gonna bring them back to Prodigy.
Right. But while all this is going on, we also got the stuff with Boy Cavalier, where
yes.
all he cares about during this entire fucking outbreak in his complex.
Xeno running loose, people getting murdered left and right. And he's like, I just want to talk to that eyeball thing.
Yeah. So
That's what's so important right now. At
he
this
has
moment.
them put the fucking sheep into a giant glass container and they bring it to his personal quarters. And then he starts communicating with it and he's like, do you understand what this is? And he has
He's got 3.14
He's got
written on his
3.1
hand.
written on-
Then he explains about civilizations would know this if you're smart.
Right, okay, that might be the case. That, yeah, any advanced civilization would understand the concept of pi. How the fuck does this thing know what our numeric values are?
Or the
how does it
symbols
know,
and everything, yeah.
How does he know when he's looking at that's
3.14.
3.14? How does he fucking know?
Yeah.
This is so stupid. There are other ways that he could have conveyed that to him, but the writers are fucking lazy and they don't care. And so they're just like, it's fucking write our numbers, who cares?
Yeah,
We'll figure
so
it out.
obviously eyeball, squid, sheep can fully understand these things. It's well versed in English language and symbols. It's just
Yeah,
easy.
from its time here on Earth.
From its time on Earth and its space journey back on
Yes.
the Maginot. You know, being surrounded by all those smart people on that ship.
Absolutely, yeah,
scientists
I guess you
and
pick up a
doctors.
couple things
Yeah,
here and there,
exactly.
you know?
So he decides, like, no, this thing has to go into a human so I can converse with it. and they run through the possible people it could be. Someone low IQ, like a mold scrubber. Finally, a little recognition on that dude scrubbing some mold, and it's like...
Apparently he's a mold scrubber.
Well, yeah, you know what would be
means.
better than him? Is a system that pulls humidity out of the air. I'm trying to figure out what they're called. Oh, it's called a fucking dehumidifier.
Yeah, it's like, wow, this facility has a big problem with mold. If this was like an alien planet, okay. You know, there's just like weird shit in the atmosphere that causes that. They're just on an island somewhere.
Yeah.
It's like, this is fucking stupid. So that's what that guy was doing. He was just cleaning mold.
Yeah, he
off
disappeared
of walls.
after that episode. We've
He's
never
like in
seen
a
him again.
hazmat suit too, and it's like, okay, whatever.
Yeah, all you need is a little mask to clean mold. You don't need a fucking full body suit.
It ruined the mystique of what that guy was.
Yeah, I really liked the mystique of what that guy was.
Yeah.
I was really hoping we were going to get a big reveal of what he was doing at the end, but it's just fucking stupid. So he decides, wait a minute, no, we got to put the eyeball into somebody else. And then he figures out who he's going to do, but we don't know.
Yeah, he doesn't say
We
yet.
don't know who it is yet. So, it could be Dave Sylvia, maybe Joe, maybe Morrow. Who knows?
I mean, there's lots of lingering questions right now, you know, a lot of predictions that one can make to help us guess what we think is going to happen. We've got a guess for you guys.
Yes.
Dark Hour.
Yes, Dark Hour is joining us for some predictions for the season finale.
So what's up, Dark Hour? How's it going?
It's going pretty well. It's good to be on a show with you guys. We had a previous encounter on a stream before, and I was wondering when we were going to get together like this.
Yeah.
And it was funny because recently people had been saying in the comments of like a lot of my videos, like, "Oh, you should collaborate with Hardcut." And I was like, "Yes, we could be the Hard Hour."
All right. Right. Good to know.
Well, we've been definitely hitting this show pretty fucking hard.
Yeah.
So and so have you. So this is a good.
Yeah. For people who don't know, Dark Hour did a video covering the first 3 episodes all in one, and that video is hilarious, and it blew up for you. So if you guys want to check out some more Alien Earth content, it's pretty fantastic. So episode 7, what was your take?
When the bar is so low, can it go any lower? First of all, it was the shortest episode. I was surprised by that.
Yes, a positive.
One thing I will give it wasn't just talking.
Yeah.
I will say that, because that has been one of my biggest complaints about this show overall, has been that it's just this conversation, now move on to this conversation. This one at least had something going on, but it's just the culmination of a bunch of stupid crap. It's just none of it makes sense. There's no consistency. 1 minute there's characters over here struggling to drag a full-grown adult. First of all, he shouldn't be struggling to drag that adult, might I add. He's a super strong android. I don't understand why he's having trouble dragging it, like, you know, a 160-pound man. But
that's being generous for Arthur.
Yeah, I mean, it's soaking wet. You know? It's hard to say with this episode because I think this is what they should have been doing all along. It's just still not good. The biggest problem I had with it was it just looked terrible. The special effects are doing that thing where they were decent, pretty good in the first few episodes, and I don't know if they ran out of budget or something, but they're not looking as good. You can clearly see that the alien is a guy in a suit. When he was squatting down, you could see the folds. It's in broad daylight. It looks terrible.
They tried covering it up with some bushes and some shots, you know?
Yeah. Just the characters have no development for the most part. They're almost exactly the same as they were when the show started. I would say that maybe 2 of them have developed. The rest
So who
of them
are
are just the
you
same.
rooting for the most?
It's funny because all the years of thinking Weyland Yutani is just this shithole company, and I'm just like, could someone end this crappy knockoff, please? Like, what is going on? I really cannot stand Boy Cavalier. I call him Peter Pansexual in my videos. They tell us he's this insane genius, trillionaire, 22-year-old, whatever he is. And he's supposed to be the smartest man who ever lived, and he does the dumbest shit consistently over and over and over again.
Yeah, it's pretty frustrating.
Yeah.
I just think as the season's gone on, he's just progressively become Jesse Eisenberg Lex Luthor. It's just really annoying to watch. I personally am rooting for Eyeball Alien. That's who I'm rooting for.
Yeah. I don't know what the actual name of that thing is. The eyeball
T.
alien.
Oculus,
Ocellus
whatever.
or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's just eyeball squid over here. So
Yeah.
Eyeball squid. I call him. I was calling him Shumagorath.
Yeah.
And then Sheepogorath and all sorts of. I don't understand that, and I'm hoping that because they've tried to play it off like he's. Or I guess it. I don't know. It really has a gender or anything like this.
Misgender it.
I'm not going to misgender the eyeball.
Okay.
Don't worry.
Thank you.
At first, you're like, "Oh, this thing's evil." It comes out with that cat, and that first time you see it, and you're just like, oh, this is evil. And then they kind of play it off like it's a heroic alien entity in the 5th episode, because he's like trying to warn the one woman. In the 6th episode, he basically kills the one character, and now here he's trying to communicate via sheep language to Jesse Eisenberg, you know.
Yeah, so I mean, with the end of this episode now, this takes us into the finale. I'm going to say this is the season finale, not series finale. Whether it's series or season, we got one left, and there's just so many riveting things that I have to know that are going to come out in this final episode. And I was curious about your take on where you see some of this going based on what we've seen up to this point. We've got Kirsch's plan, his master plan here. I was curious where you see that going, considering he's flip-flopped back and forth basically every episode.
Yeah, I can't figure him out. I can't, and maybe that's the point. It doesn't make any sense. First of all, he shouldn't have the ability to go against his creator like that. He's an android programmed by a person like that. You're telling me that person didn't put in any fail safes or program Directive 4 into him?
A little insurance policy called Directive 4.
But on top of that, what could his goals possibly be? Why is he telling Boy Cavalier, oh, everything's fine? It's clearly not. But then the next episode, he's out there trying to prevent Morrow from doing whatever he's trying to do, capturing the chest burster. So it's like, you're not going to take over the company. You're an android. But on top of that, you know, with him, I feel like just from a writing standpoint, that whole sequence on the dropship when he goes, is everything okay? And he goes affirmative. Like, there was a dramatic moment there that they just dropped. He could have turned to him and said, no, it's not okay. And it creates a dramatic moment. And instead they have him lie for no reason, because in the very next episode, like you said, you find out that he tells him that there was problems. So it's, I almost feel like a lot of these shows that have these writers' rooms, they're not really rooms. They're more like writing cubicles where people do all of them independently of one another. They get together in a common area and then go, okay, well, let's just try to make a couple of things make sense. That's what this feels like, because the first 2 episodes felt consistent because they were both written and directed by the same person. They had a lot of dumbass decisions, a lot of bad writing, but they didn't immediately break their own rules. And then one of the rules they established very early on, can't feel emotion. We couldn't replicate the emotional hormones and stuff. They're emotional the whole time, all of them.
Yeah,
every
they
single one
are
of them.
balls of emotion.
Yes, exactly.
It's just like on overdrive. Do we think that they're all going to just get taken out and it's just going to be Wendy left, or a few of them are going to actually escape? Like, where do we see that going?
I feel like everybody has to die. I don't even think that they really want to do a second season. Maybe it'll get greenlit for another one. I don't think it's getting the numbers they expected. Mm-hmm. My guess is that the final scene of this series is going to be Weyland-Yutani basically rerouting the Nostromo. It's only 2 years before, so if they were to reroute the Nostromo, it would take a little while for it to get there. The timing works out. That's been my guess all along, that's where it's going to end. Now, they could still do that and have a second season. Personally, I wish that they wouldn't have done the Xenomorphs. I wish that they would have just done a show, not called it Alien Earth. You could have even done that sort of backdoor, connected to the universe kind of thing. By the time people realize they're in that universe, if they're already invested in the show, it could have just been called Prodigy or something like that. And then eventually they name drop Weyland-Yutani. You're like, wait a minute. And then Weyland-Yutani's doing all these things with these various other aliens. None of them work out. They're not good for what they want to do with them. Then you chain into the first Alien movie. Yeah. That could have worked without any retcons.
Reminds me of like Caprica or something. They tried to do like a prequel series that was Battlestar Galactica, but literally had nothing to do with Battlestar Galactica. Something like that would have at least been interesting, because then you're not weighted down by the Xenos and all that shit, and then having to worry about inconsistencies and fucking with the lore and all that shit.
What we've been saying the whole time is just make it a fucking sequel.
Yeah, slot this between Alien 3 and 4, and you've got no...
Boom, zero problems.
Yeah.
I mean, it still sucks.
It still sucks, but you can eliminate a lot of, like, just the whole competition between hybrid cyborgs and synths or whatever they set up at the beginning of the show. That feels like the progression of that would have come after Alien 3.
Correct.
Once the technology gets to that point. And then prior to, Alien, because Alien 4 is so far in the future, it doesn't even matter. It seemed like at the end of the episode, Boy was more fixated on who he was going to put the eyeball squid into to have a conversation than the containment breach on his island with aliens running around killing people. He didn't really seem to give a shit about that. But there's a few people that he could try and stick that eyeball alien into. So who's your best guess on that?
Well, I don't think he's gonna go for the bald guy. I don't even know that character's name.
Adam.
I'm Adam.
A lot of times I don't even know character names. I just make up ones. Especially because this one had so many characters that were irrelevant.
Oh, yeah.
They could have trimmed it down to 2 or 3 synthetics instead of 6. Some of them don't even serve a purpose. They could have easily just been folded into one character. Take the few little things they do and make them into one character. I'm gonna assume that it's gonna be Dame Sylvia. He's pretty pissed at her. He doesn't trust her, and he's also pissed at Arthur. And he doesn't know about what happened with him yet. So
You think he
my
would?
guess is, well, he probably will at the beginning of the next episode because time goes like that here. Somebody finds out the details as soon as something is brought up. I don't think they're gonna choose a random mold squirter or whatever the hell they were.
Our boy.
I can't believe that's what that was. I was speculating what the hell those characters were doing, and it just turns out all they're doing is spraying for mold. Like, obviously it can't be Arthur, dead. You know, even if it was, he wasn't there anymore. So that really only leaves the 2 characters, and I can't foresee him doing it. I think he's going to end up being the one, Boy Cavalier. I think he's going to end up being the one with it. They've kind of hinted towards it. I think his intended target is Dame Sylvia.
That's what my gut was too, her. But then I thought about it and I was like, that really wouldn't be that smart of him to do that, because someone as high profile as her, that just raises too many questions, I think. But it's this show.
Also,
so that
she's
doesn't matter.
like the only person now qualified to be
That too.
handling the hybrids.
Yeah, exactly, that too. But none of that matters,
But
though.
right, but that's the thing. It's like they don't make logical decisions in this show, so she does fit the bill. Like, he would just pick her without even considering the ramifications of what it meant for dealing with the hybrids.
I don't know if you guys... I think I saw a meme about it earlier. The soldiers that just appeared out of nowhere.
Oh, yeah.
They're just on the boat, and then all of a sudden there's just like 1,000 troops around
Yeah, they
them.
all
It's like,
come
where'd all
running
these
out from
guys
behind
come
like
from?
a couple crates.
Fucking stupid.
Those are the kind of like cinematography moments that don't work. If they're not ripping off directly from one of the movies, they don't know what to do with it, and the scene doesn't make sense a lot of times. If I was giving them advice, I would have said never put the alien out in daylight. It looks terrible. It really does. The head looks like a bratwurst.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
It's the color they made it, and you know what? The design in general, not even just the way the costume, like the design sucks. This iteration of the alien sucks. And like the vent things that he has on its back are like way too small. It looks stupid. I don't like it.
Yeah, which is funny because they've established that it doesn't take long for them to get to full size. So you can't even argue this is like an adolescent mid-range because he's been alive for several episodes now.
All we have left is what's going to happen to dear old Wendy. Hating her brother. She's gone full robot mode. She's lost her humanity. Where do we see Wendy going?
Honestly, I have no idea what that... I can't foresee them killing her off. They've done all this building up, and she's... you know, a Nepo baby hire. I can't foresee them killing her off, but what do you do with her? She's not part of the lore. She doesn't appear in Alien, so what are you going to do with it? If they do go a second season, my guess is that it's going to be her hunting down rogue aliens or something. That's my guess. You know, with a paper cutter arm. That doesn't make any sense.
Her and Morrow.
Morrow is another. The actor is trying so hard, but he's always sweaty. It's really weird. He's always sweaty in every scene.
Yeah, it's like he's still on the ship.
Yeah, and he's really out of shape too. And like they put him in that like Navy SEAL suit, and it's like he barely fits.
He's like spilling out of it.
Yeah, all the other guys are in this great shape. They're like 5% body fat, and here waddles up this walrus of a human being. Like, yeah, let's get him out of the water as quickly as possible. If they greenlight another season, it changes so much, but you can't just end it with her alive. Pretty much the entirety of Prodigy has to fall.
Right, Boy has to go.
Technically, I think all of the other corporations have to fall. I love Alien and Aliens, the movies. I've read a few comics here and there, but I've never really got super deep into the lore. I don't know if any of these other companies exist later on toward the end. I was always under the impression that Weyland-Yutani is pretty much the only one that still exists. They just control the Earth. Maybe I'm wrong about that. I'm not going to sit here and try to say that that's the way it has to go, but I would assume you have to kill off at minimum Prodigy.
Well,
we'll see next week.
We'll see next week. We got one episode left, and it's going to be a doozy.
Yeah, well, thanks for stopping by, DarkHour. Really appreciate it. It's always good talking to you. So
yes, great to have your perspective on this one.
If you ever want to bring me back on something like this, anytime I get a chance to collaborate with people, and I like the style you got here. It's kind of a different way of doing it than most collaborations are, because they're usually like live.
Yeah, the live stuff is I mean, they're fun, but they tend to be like fucking 4 hours long, and it's like, oh,
Yeah.
okay.
No, I completely understand.
Lives.
Yeah,
Like,
it's already
No, I like
not
this.
doing this shit, you know. So
You know.
yeah, everyone go check out DarkHour. His stuff is really good.
Yeah, really solid
Thank you.
videos. Check them out.
All right, take it easy, man.
All right.
Regardless of what happens, doesn't matter. This show fucking sucks.
It does, but we gotta suffer through episode 8.
We just gotta muscle through
We've
one
come
more.
this far. Are any of you out there still watching? Because most of you, I feel like at this point, gave up a long time ago.
What do you guys think?
What do you guys think of the episode? Did you watch it? Let us know in the comments.